Hi, I'm Keith Swaney, archivist at the New York State Archives in Albany, New York. At the State Archives, we understand the importance of using primary sources in pre-K through 12 and college classrooms. Primary sources, such as historical documents, help students to connect to history and to sharpen their critical thinking skills. Today, I'm here to explain how to find historical documents in your local community that will enhance your lessons and engage your students, whether you are looking for a broad array of documents that relate to a topic you're covering in the classroom, or just want to find an interesting or unique document that can be slipped into a lesson. Only a fraction of these materials is available online. Many more are available by visiting places like libraries, historical societies, and local governments, such as a town clerk's office. Today we're here with Donna Conlin, town clerk for the town of Schodack. Thanks very much for letting us visit you today. Can you tell us what you do as a town clerk and describe the types of services you provide for people who visit your office?
The town clerk's office is multifunctional. We issue marriage licenses, dog licenses, vital records, our birth certificates, death certificates. I'm also the recording secretary to the town board, which means that I have to attend all the town board meetings and do the minutes. I also handle the insurance, we do purchasing, you name it, we seem to do it.
Sounds like a lot. You've kind of alluded to this already, but can you tell us about the types of documents you maintain in your office and explain why you keep them?
We have minute books, we would have licenses, we have claims when people sue the town. Our vital records, which are your birth and death records, start at 1882.
Excellent. These go all the way through to the present day?
Correct.
So then you have a lot of records here that are important for people's everyday lives. What about some of the older records you have? Can you give us an example of one of the older documents from your collections?
One of the ones that's in the minute book from 1795 is the manumission of Mink, which is the freeing of the slave, and the slave's name was Mink.
How about the records and their formats? Have they changed over time, and what might a researcher expect to find here?
You're going to find a variety of records. The formats would be different. In the beginning, everything was pen and quill. Then we went to typewritten minutes, and now, of course, we use the computer.
Excellent. Now, at the State Archives where I work, when somebody wants to begin research, we usually direct them to our website, which has the online catalog, finding aids, and other indexes that are available there. I'm assuming that a town clerk's office might be different. Can you describe the process that a researcher would follow to access town clerk's records?
They would set up an appointment to come in. They would ask us what they want, and then we would provide those records and bring them upstairs out of the vault where they're stored, and they would be able to be viewed in the office.
So Donna, when researchers come to the town clerk's office, will they encounter any restrictions on records, legal restrictions that might fall under the state Freedom of Information law?
Yes. Some of the current records would have to have information redacted in order to be viewed by the public because of the Privacy Act. Vital records are also records that are not in the public domain.
And if they find documents they'd like to have copies of, are they allowed to bring in a digital camera, or can they request copies to be provided through your office?
We do both.
Okay.
You can either provide your own camera, your digital camera, or we do make copies available.
Now, we've talked a lot about what the town clerk's office is and the types of materials and services you provide to the community. I understand for the classroom teachers like to use documents in your collections such as court minutes and also meeting minutes that you hold. Is there a chance that we can take a look at some of these records today?
Yes,
Excellent.
we could.
So Donna, what types of things do we have here?
This is the original minute book of the town, and this is the manumission of Mink.
Excellent. So this is from the first year of the town board minutes, right, Donna? 1795.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, you can see here that Mink was the property of a Mr. Johnson of the town, and that he's manumitting here this man Mink. It's interesting, too, the conditions of manumission here, that he be under 50 years age and have the sufficient ability to provide for himself. And I noticed as you were talking that the two overseers of the poor of the town also signed off on that. So probably indicating the fact that they had to verify that he could, sustain himself as an individual free man. Very interesting. It's also interesting because 1795 is 4 years before the gradual abolition law that the state passed. So this is kind of a document that comes right at the end of a period of legal slavery in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Well, what else do you have here?
This is an example of our current minutes.
Uh-huh.
And you can see the difference because now they're done electronically.
Very nice. Very word processed and and nice formatting. Looks like we have another type of record here, a criminal docket, so a court record. And this is a book here. It looks like this was compiled in the late 1890s, 1896, 1897. This one here, it looks like is here, the County Rensselaer against Silas W. Richmond. The charge, it looks like, is disorderly person intoxication in a public place. Court records are very beneficial for teachers in that they can compare proceedings from historical periods, the 18th, 19th century, with crimes and punishments that are meted out in today's society. So it's kind of an interesting comparison between the old and the new. But in this case, 1896 here, the defendant was convicted on his plea of guilty of being a disorderly person and sentenced to 180 days of hard labor. So again, a teacher could use this document, compare it to today's world, and see how the punishments would have differed from an individual back then to today. We have another example here, around the same time period, I believe, and this is for an individual who was convicted under Section 291 of the Penal Code for being a juvenile delinquent. But the interesting thing about this document is that it says that the accused, John Ramerda, he was convicted and he was sentenced for a term in the State Industrial School in the city of Rochester, New York. It's interesting in comparing the records you have in your office versus what we have in the state archives. We also have records of the State Industrial School. This was an institution formed in the mid-19th century to kind of segregate juvenile delinquents from adult criminals. So Donna, you've done an excellent job of explaining the different types of records you have here at the town clerk's office, and particularly some of the ones that are very useful for teachers to use. What about some of the other departments in the town that have records?
Well, our Justice Court has current court records, we have planning records, and of course we have the town historian records. She has not only her collection, but she also maintains the records for the Historical Society, which is Esquitock.
Okay, and she would maintain records that would be of even a non-governmental nature, but that relate to the local history and the history of the town of Schodack.
That's correct. She's a wealth of information.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you very much for having us here today. It was a pleasure to get to meet you and to discuss the different types and broad array of materials that you have here at the town clerk's office. Thank you very much.
Thank you.